to the revision session of BIT degree program, which is conducted by University of Colombo School of Computing. So today we are going to have our revision on Introductory Mathematics, which is EN1201. So before going to the revision, I would like to give you an outline of the syllabus. First one, numbers and arithmetic operations. Second one, basic algebra. Third one, solving equations and inequalities. Fourth one, fundamentals of measurement, ratios and proportions. Sixth one, percentages. Finally, fundamentals of sequences and series. So these are the required materials that you can find relevant to the course. Reference 1 and 2 is given like in the slides. So in this video we are going to revise first two chapters. The first chapter is about numbers and arithmetic operations. So under the numbers and arithmetic operations, you should have to have the idea of the following subtopics: types of numbers and representation on the number line, the basic arithmetic operations and the rules governing the application of the basic arithmetic operations on different types of numbers. So the next second chapter, which is basic algebra. Under the basic algebra, the subtopics which it will cover: algebraic terminology, expansion and factorization of algebraic expressions, evaluation of algebraic expressions and formulae. So today we are going to have our revision based on this EN1201 Introductory Mathematics multiple choice question paper. So before going to the revision, I would like to remind you that some questions can have more than one answer. So you should be careful when marking your answers. So let's move to the first question. So this is very easy question. In this question, what you have to do is 0.6 multiplied by 0.23. So in this type of questions, what you can do is first forget about the fraction points. Here you can just multiply 6 by 23. So the answer is 138. Next, you pay your attention to separating the fractions. So here 0.6 contain one fraction place, 0.023 contain 3 fraction place. So altogether there are 4 fraction places. So in your answer you are going to allocate the fraction points starting from your right hand side. So the correct answer should be B. And this type of questions usually not contain multiple answers, because here you can have only one correct answer. So let's move to the second question. In the second question, what they are asking is the square root of 7056. So here if you look at the answers, you can see that they interpret their answers in several ways. So this question can have multiple answers. So we will look at the solution. So here this is how we are going to find the square root of 7056. So here if you directly know the answer, directly know the square root, you can mark the answer. Otherwise you can find the square root by dividing 7056 by the prime numbers. So here what we have done. So in our division, at the immediate step, we can equate 7056 to 2 to the power 4 multiplied by 441. Right? Then if we take the square root of both sides, we will be able to find the square root of 7056. It's a one method of the solution. So now the square root of 7056 will equal to the 4 times 441 square root. So we can select one of our answers as E. Now what we are going to do is we are further moving to our division. So here at the end we will end up 7056 is equal to 2 to the power 4 multiplied by 3 to the power 2 multiplied by 7 to the power 2. So if we take the square root of these two sides, we will end up with the answer as 84. So we will mark our answer B as 84. Now you can see that how we can have multiple answer for one question. So if you do only the last step, you will find only the 84 as the answer and you will lose some marks. So now we are moving to the question number 3. So in question number 3, here you have an expression minus 6 plus 4 divided by 2 minus 5 multiplied by 3. So here in this type of questions, what you have to consider is the order of the operations. I think you have already know the order of the operation. So normally the order comes like the division, multiplication, addition and the subtraction. So we'll move to the solution and find how we are going to find the order and solve the question. So here you can see based on the order we have applied brackets to our expression. Then it will be easy to find the answer rather than directly solving the answer starting from the left to right. So here we use brackets in each part and we have less the amount of work that we have to do within the question. So here if you have applied the brackets, then you can solve whatever the operations within the brackets first. Here you can see 5 multiplied by 3 is 15. First we solve that. Next 4 divided by 2 it's 2. Finally we come to the answer as minus 19. So we mark our answer as minus 19. So now we have come to our next question, which is question number 4. It's like an essay type question. You may come across several types of question. This is like an essay type question. Normally most of the students are afraid of essay type questions, but when you look at the question and you read on, it's very easy to understand step by step. So let's go to the question. Question number 4. A man is required to take a tablet once every 4 hours, a capsule once every 6 hours and a syrup once every 10 hours. If he takes all three together at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning, when will he take all three together again? So this will our question. So if you look at the question, you can see they have mentioned 4 hours, 6 hours and 10 hours. So what we are going to do is, we are going to take the least common divisors of 4, 6 and 10. So here we take the least common divisor of the 4, 6 and 10. So we end up with the solution as 60. So remember that this 60 is the number of hours, 60 number of hours. So now what we have to do is, we have to find which is the day and what is the time, right? In order to find the day, you know that there are 24 hours per day. So what we are going to do is, we are dividing 60 by 24, which is equal to 2 days and 12 hours. So the answer is Wednesday 6 p.m. So we will move how we obtain Wednesday 6 p.m. So Monday, if we add 2 days to Monday, then it is Wednesday, right? So then we come across Monday 6 a.m. Again we have to add 12 hours to Monday 6 a.m. Then you will come across the answer as Wednesday 6 p.m. We will move to the next question, which is question number 5. In question number 5, you have an expression like this. So again it's very easy question, and again you can see that this question can have only one answer. So let's move to the solution. So now we are going to solve this. In the solution, what we can do is, we can first solve whatever the operations within the bracket. So here 0.2 to the power 2. First we solve the 0.2 to the power 2, which is equal to 0.04. Next we solve the denominator, and now we are ready to divide 0.00192 by 0.96. So now we have end up the denominator with fraction number. So what we normally do is we remove the fraction part from the denominator. So what we are going to do is that our denominator is 0.96. So in order to remove the fraction part, we multiplied it by 100. So here if we multiply the denominator by 100, so we have to do the same for the denominator as well. So we end up with the step 0.192 divided by 96. Now the step is easy. So finally we end up with the answer as 0.002. So which is the answer D. So next move on to the question number 6. Again this is an essay type question. Let's read. Sunil took a bag of mandarins to school. He gave 1/10 of the fruits to Kamal, 1/5 to Rajan and 15% to Riaz. The rest of the distributed equally among 11 other students in the class. If each of these 11 students received 3 fruits each, how many fruits did Sunil take to school? So let's move to the solution. So this is our solution. Now we'll see how we can obtain that solution. Right. In this type of questions, what we have to solve is the initial number of mandarins. So we assume the initial number of mandarins we have is equal to x. X is a variable. So here, since we have given 1/10 from our initial mandarins to Kamal, so the portion gave to Kamal is 1/10 from x. So 1/10 multiplied by x. So portion gave to Ranjan is 1/5 of x. Portion gave to Riaz is 15 divided by 100 x, because 15% is allocated for Riaz. So now we have almost all the portions gave to Kamal, Ranjan and Riaz. So here the rest of the mandarins is distributed among 11 students. So how can we find the rest of the mandarins? So this is how. So what we can do is we can subtract the portions gave to Kamal, Ranjan and Riaz from the initial amount of the mandarins. So this is how we did it. And finally we distribute it among 11 students. And the question mentioned that each student have received 3 mandarins. So finally our equation will end up like this. X minus whatever the portions given to Kamal, Ranjan and Riaz divided by 11, so which is equal to 3. So now you have come across the equation, you are familiar with solving the equations, so it's easy, and finally by solving this equation you will find the answer as x equals 60. So in this type of questions also you can have only one answer, so make sure you solve the equation correctly, then you can come across the correct answer. So let's move to the question number 7. So again this is very easy type of questions, but the thing is here you have to multiply integers which is somewhat big. 1950 have to multiply by 2050. Right here you can simplify this multiplication as follows. You can multiply 195 by 205 by 100. Right, that means we have simplified whatever the multiplication. So here first what you can do is you can multiply 195 by 205. Later on multiply the answer obtained by that by 100. So this is how we obtain our answer. So if you look at the solutions, they are equally likely. So be careful, though you find the right answer, some students are doing errors when they are marking the answer, because almost all the answers have 1-digit difference. So please be careful when marking your answers. So this is our correct answer, which is C. Let's move on to the next question, which is question number 8. So in question number 8, you have to find x squared divided by y squared plus y squared divided by x squared. And you are given x divided by y minus y divided by x equals 4. So in this type of questions, you have to have some experience in the format of these questions, right? So I think you have come across the questions like you are given a minus b, the value of a minus b, and you have to find the value of a squared plus b squared. In that sort of questions, you should give the value of a, b as well. But here the thing is much more easier. Here you have to find x squared divided by y squared plus y squared divided by x squared, which is same as in the format of x. You have to find a squared plus b squared. Right. Let's move on to the solution. So this is the solution. So here this is whatever the given. So what you are doing is you take the power of both sides. So here if you simplify it, you will end up x squared divided by y squared plus y squared divided by x squared minus 2x divided by y multiplied by y divided by x equals 16. Here you can see you have already come across what you are required to solve, that is x squared divided by y squared plus y squared divided by x squared. The rest of the part, if you closely look at your equation, you can see they are cancelling out. Finally we end up x squared divided by y squared plus y squared divided by x squared minus 2 equals 16. So here you can add minus 2 to the 16, and now we have obtained our answer as 18. So we'll mark our answer as B, which is 18. So let's move on to the next question, which is question number 9. So here again you have to carefully solve this, right? In order to solve this, you have to go through several steps. We'll see. So this is how we are going through our steps. So initially you are given 1 divided by a minus b squared minus 1 divided by b squared minus a squared, right? Here if you closely look at your expression, under the first denominator, as the first denominator you have a minus b, but at the right hand side you have b squared minus a squared. So there should be a consistency between the denominators. So what you can do is you can take the minus sign out of the denominator of the right hand side and make it as a squared minus b squared. Let's move on. Right now you can see 1 over a minus b is a common term in both left and the right side. So what you can do is you can take the common term out, common factor out. So you take 1 over a minus b out. So now you are left with 1 divided by a minus b plus 1 divided by a plus b within the bracket. So now the task is much more simpler. Now you have to solve whatever within the brackets. So by solving you will find the answer. So if you look at your answer, 5 answers A, B, C, D and E, you can see that all 4 answers have 2b as their nominator. Only one answer have 2a as the nominator. So if you look at your answer, whatever the calculation you have already done, you have 2a as your nominator. So without solving denominator of whatever your calculation, you can mark your answer as B. So those are the tricks that you can save your time, because whenever you are doing the paper, you should be adjusted to the time. So these type of questions, if you look at clearly of your 5 answers and whatever your calculation, you can reduce the amount of time you spent on these unnecessary calculations. So let's move on to the 10th question. So here it's 8x to the power 4 minus 15x squared multiplied by y squared. So let's move on to the solution. So this is how we are going to solve this. So in this type of expression, you have to do the factorization. So here you can take the common factor out. So what will be the common factor? 2x squared is the common factor. So we are taking the common factor out. So if you look at this step, you can see that we have already come out with one of the answers which is within our 5 answer set. So that means we can mark A as our one answer, right? So next move on with our calculation. So in our calculation we can move on like this. So now we are looking at whatever the content within the brackets. So here you can rewrite the 4 as 2 to the power 2 and 25 as 5 to the power 2. Again we can further go into the calculations. We can make 2x to the power 2 and 5y to the power 2. Closely look at the content within the brackets, you can see. So this is type of a squared minus b squared, somewhat like this. So you can simplify this like 2x squared times 2x minus 5y, 2x plus 5y. It's like a minus b times a plus b. So we have obtained the second answer. So normally in this type of questions, what the students are doing is they go through their calculations and finally they find the last step of the calculation and they mark only the answer C. So actually, though the answer A is within your calculation, you didn't look at it. So that is where you lose the marks. So it is very important to look at your calculation very carefully, then you can sometimes find more than one answer. So we'll move to the next question, which is question number 11. So in question number 11, again you are given an expression, quadratic equation. So here in this equation, again you have to do the factorization. Here what we can do is, we can take the terms which are having the same factors near. So this is how we did it. So that means we take minus 2xy with x squared and 6y with 3x minus 3x. So now we are taking the common terms out. So what are the common terms? So we take x from x squared minus 2xy and we take minus 3 out from 6y minus 3x. So here if you look at this, x minus 2y is common in both left and the right side. So next, if you look at your solution set, you can find an answer which is closely related to the previous step. So there, what they have done is they take the right hand side term to the front and left hand side to the right hand side. So that means we have to do some rearrangement. So in this if we did the rearrangement, you can see we can mark one answer. So let's move on. So in this time, what we are continuing is 3 times 2y minus x 2y minus x. Again the terms within the brackets are equal, so again we take the common terms out of both left and the right side. So now we have come across another answer. Let's further move on. So again you can take the common terms out. That means x minus 2y. If you take x minus 2y out of the both sides, then you will end up with x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 2y. So finally you will come across with the final answer, that is E. So here you can see how we come across to C, D, E as our answer. So we have altogether 3 answers within this question. So if you end up with the last answer and if you blindly mark that answer only, you will lose some marks. So we have finished the revision of our paper. So that means we have finished the revision of first 2 chapters. Now let's move on to the revision of next chapters. Thank you.